To have you all here today. My name is Paige. For those of you I haven't met, I'm the camp director. To my left here are our two unit heads. This is Michelle Hecht. She was with us for 2 years, skipped a summer for us, and she's back, which we're very excited about. And this is Debbie Katchen, who's our assistant unit head in Tzahov, and this is her first summer with us, but she's very experienced working at multiple day and sleepaway camps in the past. So we're very excited to have them both here for us this summer. A couple things for today. We're going to go over a little bit of the overview of Tzahov and how trips work and electives work and get all of your questions answered. And then when we're done in here, you'll be able to walk to the back of this building, get your campers' t-shirts. They'll get one shirt, which is their regular shirt, and then they get a special Friday Shabbat shirt. And then you'll be able to walk up to the campsite. If you haven't been here before, it'll give you a chance to see the site, and you'll see where your campers will be meeting every day. Each of them have their own picnic table. That's where they meet in the morning. That's where they have lunch, leave their bags for the days that your campers are here. And their counselors will also be up there, so you'll get to meet them all and get any of your questions answered. So Tzahov is a really exciting unit. It's different than if you've been in our camp before, because now all of a sudden you have trips going on and you have a whole lot more electives and choice for yourselves, which for many of you is really nice for you to be able to choose really the activities that you like to do. So a couple things. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the campers in Tzahov have a couple of assigned activities as groups. So everybody gets cooking, everybody has a sport, everybody gets ropes course. But then everyone, gets a certain one or two other activities, and they all get free swim, and they all get lunch, and then the rest of their day they get to choose. So multiple periods throughout the day, which most of you have done this ahead of time. If you haven't and you arrive at camp tomorrow or your first day and haven't chosen, the unit heads will sit with the child and the camper and work out what electives they're going to be involved with. But the way it works is that in the morning, they have one elective period, which is our second period of the day, and they can either choose, or you as a family can choose instructional swim, or if you're on our swim team, that's when they would be having swim team practice. And then there are about 10 other electives that they've chosen from. And then in the afternoon, as well, there are 2 elective periods, and that's also when they'll be able to choose from a variety. So if you're really into sports, or you're really into art, or you want to try ropes and you've never done it before, whatever, or archery, or whatever the activity might be that you want to do, you'll be able to do that activity. Of course, at this point, some of the activities are closed out, but we will work with you to do our best to get you at least in your second choice, if not your first choice. And throughout the whole summer, there are all different ones being offered. So sometimes you may try something in the beginning and decide later on maybe you want to try something else, so we like to offer you a variety of things throughout the summer. So that's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, there are the trips. And many of you I know have many questions about the trips, especially if your family is a first-time family in the Tzahov unit. So the way the trips work are that the campers come to camp. They, whether you come in on a bus or you're getting dropped off or they're coming for early care, no matter what it is, at the same time between 8:45 and 9, they all go to their tables and they get organized for whatever the trip might be. Every trip is a little different and run a little differently depending on the activity. Each group, though, for every trip is separated into smaller groups. So if the group is about 15 children, then one counts and has 2 or 3 counselors. Each counselor is in charge of a smaller amount of kids within that group. And they set those up the first day or so of camp, and they stay pretty permanently throughout the summer so that if I'm a counselor, I always know that I have these same group of 5 or 6 kids in my group that I'm in charge of. If one of my kids in the groups are going to the bathroom on the trip, we're going with them. If they're going to drink, we're going with them. If they are not wanting to do a certain ride or something, then that's okay, because on those types of trips, we make sure that a couple groups are together so that there's always a counselor who can go with the kids who want to do the fast ride or the slow ride or no ride, depending on what the child likes to do. So at no time on these trips are the children away from their counselor, and at no time are they, because the rest of their group really wants to do a certain thing, are they going to have to do it if it's not something they're comfortable doing. So we make sure every trip is run appropriately like that. We have multiple buses, and each bus has a head person, so Michelle and Debbie are each on separate buses, and then we have some head counselors in Tzahov who have been with us for a long time, and will oversee those buses and make sure that everything's running smoothly on them, but all the buses stay together when they're traveling. In terms of the staff for this unit, it's almost all senior counselors. There are a few groups that have junior counselors. They are second-year junior counselors, ones that have been here and that have run trips with us before and know exactly what they're doing. But a large amount of this staff purposefully is on the older end, so you have people in college and grad school and teachers and things. So we have multiple adults who are on these trips, as well as if there was ever a trip that once in a while we have a trip that we feel like maybe is a little more difficult to manage or something, then we only choose ones that we're comfortable with, of course, but that we might have an additional unit head from a different unit or an adult staff person from one of our front desk people who would come. So again, we always make sure that we have enough ratios with head staff. Depending on the trip as well, we always have one of our unit heads in a specific spot, so if a child doesn't feel well, or if a child wants to be, not with their group for some reason, needs to take a break, they always know where to go, and the counselor would, of course, walk them there and have that spot. On these trips, and I'm going to tell you exactly where to find all this information on the website, but on these trips, you have different trips require different things. So some trips, you need to bring a bathing suit. Some trips, you need to bring a lunch. Some trips, lunch is included. Some trips don't get back at 4 o'clock. They don't get back till 5:30, which means there's no bus at 5:30, so you need to come pick them up. So every trip is a little bit of different information because every trip requires different things. What you do is go onto our website, and it's all up there now for those of you who haven't had a chance to see it. You go onto the camp website, and you just click where it says calendars and schedules, and on the bottom, so now there's the theme calendars, which is like a Word document. There's the regular daily schedule, which is every period what they're doing. And then there's also that says if you want specific daily information, it says Tzahov and it says road rules. So you guys are all Tzahov. So if you click on Tzahov, it lists every trip they're going on and every detail about those trips. Most of them, it lists their website also for where the trip is, so you can check it out, have an idea beforehand of what's going on. Okay? Are there any questions about this part? Yes. The nurse doesn't go on the trips. Most places have a first aid thing there. We also do have staff that are going on the trips that are CPR certified and first aid certified. Okay. Any medicines the unit head takes with them. So if you have an allergy child, then the EpiPens and all of that stuff goes with them. And we have a tester one that we've shown the counselors and the unit head and stuff how to use as well for anybody who has those types of things that would need it, and inhalers, all of that stuff. And we have a different bag for each bus, so depending on where your child is, it's always available to them. Yes? I suggest disposable only for ease of use, but you are welcome to send whichever. But I typically suggest disposable. I will say specifically to do disposable on the trips that are, there's like a water park or two, those, because it's just, there isn't that much place to put it, but it's totally up to you. You'll also, at some point this week, be getting a letter from one of our counselors who's trying to get us much more environmental, and who's going to say the exact opposite. So it's really up to you. Yes? I think 3 or 4 do throughout the whole summer, and that is on the website already so that you can plan for that. So any trip that says a late return, 5:30, means we do not have a bus here. If your child's in late stay, they will automatically then be brought up to late stay, and you still have till 6 o'clock, like always, to get them. There was another hand? Yes? We don't have any early ones this year. Oh, I'm sorry. What? We changed it, so it'll get fixed. We don't have any early ones this year. Okay. If there's dietary restrictions, then if you can just I know we know that, but if you can remind us so that we can check with the place, because us supplying it actually isn't the JCC, it's the place that includes it. So, and we can absolutely check with them if they have something available for your child, and if they don't, then we would just ask that you send a lunch bag, and obviously that would be fine also. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, in the back somebody asked if it was good to send a lunchbox with like Tupperwares or disposable lunches. I said for ease of use, disposable is good, but if you care more about for the environment and things, then send Tupperware. So it's totally up to you. They have bags and things, so they do have a place to put it, so it's really up to you in the end. Any other questions with the trips? Yes? So, right, so we ask that no campers have cell phones because they're just going to get lost or broken. We don't allow campers to be using phones during the day. The campers may not call home. The campers may not call for anything. All of our counselors have cell phones just for an emergency. They don't use them at all unless that. Our unit heads obviously are there without groups that are, you know, in case of any emergency and things like that and are overseeing it. And they are trained. This group of staff are chosen to be in this unit because they've run trips with us before, or again, I said they're much more of the older staff. A lot of them are even college graduates, and they're all trained specifically to do these trips and things. The counselors all have cell phones with them. Yes, absolutely. Okay. That's a good question. We've never asked that before for the trips. Somebody asked if we know where nearby hospitals are or anything. I mean, the first thing that would happen would be 911 would be called. So that's, you know, they would be bringing us to the nearest place, and that's, I guess, when we would find out, but we can see if we can find that out beforehand. And as I said, I'd say at least 95%, if not every place has specifically a first aid thing there with EMTs and stuff like that. That's very normal for all the places that we go because they run group trips, and so that's something required by their insurance and by them as well. Okay, a couple things for when they're here. They should be wearing a bathing suit every day that they're here and bringing a second one. If they're doing instructional swim in the morning or for swim team, they should make sure they have a second one with them. They should also be wearing sneakers. Our ropes course, sports, things like that, they can't be doing unless they have sneakers on, so we ask that they're all wearing sneakers so that they can participate in all activities. If there happens to be a day, because they'll have their schedule ahead of time, that they know they have none of that stuff that day, and they choose not to, then, you know, that would be maybe a one-day exception, but we do want everyone to have sneakers on so they can participate in all the activities. We also want that you have sunscreen. Every child should be sunscreened before they come, and then we will help them reapply after each swim, as well as, obviously, depending on your child, if you need it applied more times during the day, we'll assist in that as well. Water bottles, we ask that you send a water bottle. Again, that can be a permanent one or a throwaway one, totally up to you. And make sure your name is on it, make sure your name is on everything. If your name is on it, we will probably be able to get it back to you. If your name is not on it, we probably won't be able to get it back to you. Although your campers at least are old enough at this point to know what is their stuff, it still becomes difficult when it's mixed in with things. So we go through it, and if it's labeled with their name on it, then we're able to hand it back out. Any water bottles and things like that, also, we have water jugs, water fountains, so they'll be filled during the day, so you don't have to worry about that. Lunches, and I don't remember if I mentioned or not, go into the refrigerator, so any lunches that you aren't purchasing through us that you're sending, it will be refrigerated, so you can send anything that's appropriate for that. We ask that we are kosher sensitive, so no fish, no shellfish, no pork, and nothing, we're outside, so we can't be heating up things, so just so you're aware of that. No pork, no shellfish, on the trip or not on the trip. Okay, and refrigeration on the trips, the stuff is not refrigerated, so somebody suggested either you do an ice pack or some people freeze like their water bottle so that they can then put it in and utilize that as the ice pack, and it'll be melted enough by the time they want it. So that's a suggestion some people do. Yeah, just no, we ask that you don't do meat and dairy together, but they can do a turkey sandwich or something. Okay. In terms of, I already mentioned the no cell phones. Also, we ask that they don't really bring electronics on the buses because although the bus trips, you know, a few of them might be slightly longer, we ask that you don't bring it because in the end, it ends up a lot of times getting broken or lost because once they get to the trip, you know, they're off and doing their activities. So we just want to make sure that, you know, they're hanging out with their friends, they can be talking to their friends and all of that kind of stuff. But we really don't want them to bring anything that's, you know, going to be broken. We don't want you guys to be upset by it. The campers are responsible for anything they're bringing. So we just, you know, obviously in the end you're going to make your own choices, but we really request that they don't bring that kind of stuff. Okay. So there are certain trips, and if it's not listed up, it'll be put up there. There are certain trips that we ask that they wear their camp shirt. There are certain trips that we don't require, partly because it's either a smaller place or because if it's a place they're going to be in a bathing suit all day, it doesn't matter if they have their shirt on, that type of thing. So, and then the Shabbat shirts are meant for Fridays, but there will be certain trips that we ask that you do send it on. Yes? No, on the water park trips, that's fine to just wear water shoes, whatever you would wear on the water park, yeah. Because they'll be there all day, so that's fine. Yes? No, so the kids are responsible for everything they're bringing. So spending, those questions about spending money. So spending money on the trips is, you know, is that they're responsible for it. We would suggest that if there are certain trips, again, you'll see that on there that it says you can bring spending money, like for a snack. You know, if they're at a water park, they might want an ice cream or something like that. But we don't suggest you send a lot of money because most kids at this age, if you send it, it'll be spent. The counselors are, you know, the counselors obviously are watching over how much they're purchasing, but things can be expensive at these places. So, you know, they're getting their lunch, whether they're bringing it or it's provided or the different things. And they're obviously allowed to bring in water and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a couple trips it'll say to bring, but we suggest only bringing a little bit.
I can't tell you how many times kids come to us crying because they've lost their money. So please don't send in lots of money. It's not necessary. There's no souvenirs that need to be bought at any of these trips. A small snack is about it. So the less money, the better.
Hold on 1 second. For any of the trips, also, there's one, if any of you have a pen, and it'll be emailed out to you, but we have a hotline, and what you do is you call in that hotline in the afternoon about a half an hour before pickup time, if it's a late trip, like a 5:30 pickup, so you only need it for those times. But at that time, you're able to call in and just double check that they're returning on time. Because, you know, obviously they could have hit traffic or something like that. So instead of you coming here and waiting, we ask that you call that number. So that number is our JCC's phone number, which is 908-725-6994. And the extension is 276. It's not a voicemail for you to be able to leave messages, but you'll listen to the message and it'll say today is, and this is the trip, and Tzahov will be returning at 5:30 p.m. And then we ask that you call at 5 p.m. and just double check that it's still returning at 5:30 p.m. just in case they got stuck in traffic so that you know. It's extension 276 for those of you. And we will email this to everybody. We also send emails out. Typically I send them every evening. We try as much as possible to give you reminders and things like that. So same information that's on the website, we try and send out email reminders. But you know, please make sure you check the website because that does have the specific details of all of that. Yeah, for those of you that were, we do provide a snack every morning, and on the trips we provide the snack as well. So they'll have a snack on the bus going. Okay. I don't know the level of, I mean, I don't know the names of the packages, but we typically do, whatever hours we're there for, we do a package that's going to be good enough for that amount of hours and different things. They can't upgrade their packages because they're group packages. I don't know what the package is that we're doing off the top of my head. They can bring, yeah, I was gonna say the only thing that some people have brought money for is more arcades. If someone's like really into arcades, then they might do that. But besides that, whatever package they're getting, we're providing for them, they're getting a good package. For the amount of hours we're there, we're planning enough for them to do. Okay, yeah?
So I know you typically in there too, you have the overnight trip to the sleepaway camp. If a child doesn't want to do that, is there an option to come?
Sure. So we have the New Jersey Y camps, which is the JCC sleepaway camps associated with associated with our JCC. It's in Milford, PA. It's a one-night overnight, all included. They stay in cabins. You'll be getting information about it. And the boys go one night and the girls go a different night the next night. So I believe it's a Monday night and a Tuesday night, if I can remember off the top of my head. So on Monday night, the boys go from Monday to Tuesday. On that Monday, if for some reason your child isn't going for some reason, then let me know and we can see if we can work something out for that Monday if you have a male child. On Tuesday, the boys are there and the girls are there, so we don't have anybody here in that unit, so there wouldn't be any option for that day. And on Tuesday to Wednesday, the girls are gone, so on Wednesday, because the boys are back, there could be a possible option for girls that Wednesday, but let me know. Typically, majority of the campers go. It's a great time. They love it. But if there is an issue, just please let me know. There have been a few exceptions for certain things. So what I'm going to suggest now is, Facebook. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ken. So we have our new JCC Camp Ruach Facebook page. It's facebook.com/JCC Camp Ruach. I suggest that you like us on it because there's going to be camp videos, information, pictures. It'll be a great time to be able to watch things and see what's going on with your children during the day, and just really fun for you, as well as updates. So what I would hope you all go home and do that right away, or do it from your phones right now. And now what I'm going to say is you can go to the back of this building outside, get your t-shirts. There's camp bags and sweatshirts if you want to buy, and then head on up to the campsite.